With such strong earnings, why did Palantir stock drop on Tuesday? Hi again, everyone. I hope you're doing really well. So, following on from Monday's earnings, there was a bit of optimism, I thought, around Palantir and how they might perform going forward. However, that was not the case come Tuesday. So, Palantir obviously dropped by about 5.5% on the day and shed about another 1.5% in the aftermarket. And I think what's happened here is there's been a two-pronged thing. One of which is the macro circumstances, which was perhaps exacerbated by perhaps the market trying to revalue Palantir. So obviously the macro events is, big ones being that several banks in the US of mid to small sizes by Moody's were downgraded in terms of, how safe of assets they were. And, this follows on a narrative last week when Fitch downgraded the US government's ability to repay its debt. So, there's obviously some storm clouds from the ratings agencies there around what's going on with the US economy, and that's naturally going to flow through to the equity markets. I don't want to dwell on this too much at the moment, but you only have to cast your mind back to the legendary stories of the GFC when these ratings agencies couldn't even properly rate the mortgage-backed securities, which were behind much of the economic collapse that led to the GFC. Anyway, aside from that, it's probably I want to talk a little bit more about what's gone on with Palantir. So Palantir itself, their numbers are all good because across the board we're seeing good growth prospects in all their segments, both government, non-government, as well as the picking up of their AI technology, which is probably what has sparked the market quite a bit with this particular stock. I think where Palantir gets hurt a little bit, however, is, many investors have been speaking about this too, that there's this feeling that at the moment that Palantir's stock has been overvalued by the market. It's rode up too high on this AI wave, and it's priced many times more than what its earnings multiple should be. So I think that might be what's kind of really pulled the stock back down a bit. A lot of people had been kind of expecting a bit of a stock correction, and perhaps this most recent set of earnings numbers gives the market something to kind of work around for where they think the stock should accurately be priced. And that that's just a thought. So if you think about the whole Palantir AI wave that has got a lot of people excited about, I think Palantir has kind of suffered from the success of companies like Nvidia. So Nvidia, obviously, as AI has picked up in its adaptation, they are always going to win because they are the go-to when it comes to providing chips to power these services. Now Palantir, obviously the way they derive their revenue is a little bit different. They have platforms which clients will pay to use. So while Nvidia has had huge success, and when their earnings came out, their stock basically has doubled, more than doubled over this year. Palantir has kind of rode that wave of success because people kind of see them as being, a real big play in the AI scene, and they are in their respective field. But they are not a technology company, a hardware company that's going to be, catching the wave of AI regardless. Their success is going to come from them being able to sell their services. And, that's still kind of, it's still kind of an early stage development for them. So, that growth that they're going to see in the AI sector is going to be something that rolls out into the future, through their various platforms. And so I don't think we're capturing all that growth now. So there's still a lot of upside potential for Palantir. But I think that, this most recent earnings has been a point where the market has been able to revalue what the stock's worth. Now, on this point, I think the other thing that might have spooked the market a little bit, and that's been the stock buyback. Now, I did sort of say at first, I thought it was a bit strange that they were going to commit $1 billion of their $3 billion in cash to a stock buyback at this stage, since that they already poised that the company is ready to really capture more growth at the moment, and they're well positioned to continue to see strong quarter over quarter and year over year growth in their segments. Why aren't they dedicating that money to pursuing that growth? The $1 billion is going to basically be used to kind of keep the stock price elevated as it is at the moment. And while that's kind of good in the short term, it's not necessarily bringing the long-term value that many people are hoping that Palantir can deliver through their actual business. So I think, there's a couple of things here that have kind of hurt Palantir. It is perhaps not the most opportune moment to do a stock buyback. While, it's obviously going to be welcomed for people who are long in the stock, there's obviously questions about whether or not that capital could have been better deployed for pursuing more growth. Anyway, just some thoughts there. Let me know how you think Palantir is going to fare for the rest of the week. Do you have some price targets for the stock? Share them all in the comments below. Love to hear from you all. Until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.